Morning, Judge. Can you hear me all right? I can't hear you.
That's because I was muted.
There you go.
I think we can hear each other.
Uh,
Uh,
Judge, I see the DA's about to do, and the jail is not up yet.
yeah,
Uh, Two things. My client just wants to make sure he gets all the credit because,
sure.
which I told him he will, but just kind of emphasize that.
I will do so.
And then, secondly, I've got those four indentures to donate to Hill County. I'm going to bring them up to your office tomorrow morning, if that's okay.
Oh, that'll be perfect. Yeah, I'll make sure they get hung somewhere here in the courthouse. I appreciate that. That, like I said, I do remember your mom telling me, and I don't know what happened to them. That she, when I came in, she brought me the framing for the judicial photograph, and she said, I've got enough of this material left for the next two district judges. And I said, well, that's wonderful. And then I remember her later telling me she was going to give it to somebody here um, to,
Uh, we, we
you
haven't
know,
found. You might want to check with.
I'll check with
More.
Greg. Yeah, it seemed like in the back of my mind it was Henry Moore. She told me she was going to give it to, and of course Henry passed away, I think last year. So surely we can get more of that material if we need it. I just remembered, for some reason or other, remembered that.
Sounds good. I
Folks,
appreciate Mark getting me the plea papers on this. Mark, I see you. And hopefully we'll get this done today so we can take him off the 21st.
yes.
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
And folks down there at the jail, if y'all can hear us, if you'll come on in. There we are. I'm not sure where that other noise was coming from, but all right.
I don't hear anything else on this end, Your Honor.
Okay, it stopped now. There was for a moment I could hear some other noise coming in, but I don't hear it. So, all right, then it looks like we have the everyone present. Mr. Walker is present. Mr. Mahoney is present. The DA and the court reporter and I. And so the court will call FO 3224, the state versus Vernon Clyde Walker Jr. Are you Vernon Clyde Walker Jr., sir?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And I need to get you to maybe move a little closer to the camera so court reporter and I can hear you. And Mr. Walker, are you the same person who stands charged in this case with the offense of sexual assault?
Yes.
And since we've got plea papers here, I'll assume you understand what you're charged with. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the plea papers indicate to me that you are pleading guilty to the offense and true to the two enhancement paragraphs. Is that your plea?
Yes.
And Mr. Walker, did anyone force, threaten, coerce you, or promise you anything other than the plea agreement we're going to talk about in a minute to get you to enter your pleas here?
No.
Mr. Walker, do you read and write English?
Yes.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney, do you believe your client's competent to stand trial?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, the court finds that he is indeed competent. Mr. Walker, of course, this is punishable by 25 to 99 years or life in the penitentiary. You've got a plea agreement, which I'm going to accept. When I accept the plea agreement, there will be no right to appeal. I'm assuming you are a citizen of the United States. Is that right?
Yes.
Of course, if a person was not a citizen of the United States, they could be deported, excluded from admission, denial of naturalization, things of that nature. As I said, when the court accepts your plea agreement, there will be no right to appeal. You've told me that you're judicially confessing to having committed the offense, that the plea agreement is for 45 years, which that would run concurrent, in other words, at the same time, with the sentence that you're already serving, and also you would get credit for any and all the time that you spent toward this sentence. And then there's the trial court certification that just says there won't be any appeals. Is that your plea agreement, Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Mahoney, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Pratt, does the state have any evidence it wishes to rely upon?
Yes, Your Honor. The state offers State's Exhibit 1, which contains a written judicial confession.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
State's 1 is admitted, and since law requires me to ask, has the victim been made aware of the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then I will accept the plea agreement. The court finds Mr. Walker guilty, finds the enhancement paragraphs to be true. The court sentences him to 45 years institutional division, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Will give him credit for any and all the time that he has coming, order that run concurrent with the other sentence that he's already serving, and we will be in recess.
Your Honor, before we do recess,
Yes.
because it does involve sex offender registration, just want to make sure that he understands that as well.
Yes. Mr. Walker, there's a section in these plea papers dealing with Chapter 62 registration, and just what that means is whenever you're released on this sentence, you will be required to register under Chapter 62 of the Code of Criminal Procedure as a sex offender. You will need to go to whatever the local law enforcement entity is where you reside. If you're inside of city limits, you would go to the police department. If you're out in the county, you would go to the sheriff's office and register. And you would then, anytime you move, you have to register, and that law changes from time to time about what all a person has to register. So go in, sit down, tell them, within the first 72 hours, I'd say, of being released, because there's an offense called failure to register as a sex offender that could get 25 to life tacked on when you get out. So you don't want that as a possibility. So go in, sit down, tell whoever the sex offender registration officer is that you want to make sure you register everything you need to register, and stay in contact with them. Okay? All right. Thank you all very much. We'll be in recess.